So this is one of the new 5150 series guitars, and it's the first EVH I've tried, amp or guitar. Always excited to try something new, and especially something with such distinguished rock royalty heritage. Let's take a closer look. EVH might need to discover other numbers soon, because 5150 being an amp series from two companies, a guitar series, an album, a recording studio, and an overdrive pedal cannot be good for SEO. In fact, as a newcomer to the brand, the first time I saw the headline, EVH announces reimagined 5150 series, I was like, oh shit, a follow-up already to the iconic? Nope, they're guitars. It's essentially EVH's Super Strat. The Super Strat tweaked to Eddie Van Halen's definitive specs, and Eddie Van Halen is a guitar god. He knew what he was doing. This is the 5150 series standard. It's kind of like the baseline version, although there isn't much spec variation between the tiers. Basswood Strat body, which has been modified to have a deeper upper body carve, reminiscent of early Strats like the one Eddie Van Halen was famous for modding. Bolt-on quarter-sawn maple neck with graphite reinforcement. Non-recessed Floyd Rose 1000 with an EVH D-tuner and EVH branded Godo tuners. Godo actually does a lot of this, making special hardware for brands without their own logo on it. The volume has a Bourne's low friction pot, so it's effortless to adjust, and there's also a treble bleed circuit, which means you retain the highs even as you turn the volume down. Dual direct mounted EVH Wolfgang Alnico 2 humbuckers and a big red kill switch. This one is in slime green and has a maple fingerboard with 22 jumbo frets and a 12 to 16 inch compound radius. Slime green is the color of shred this year, it seems. With the black hardware and an ebony fingerboard, the Jackson American Series Soloist is kind of like this guitar's evil twin. Both Fender brands, that's like the serious one, and this is like the fun, happy one. It also comes in neon pink with the maple board, and then stealth black and ice blue metallic with ebony boards. The 5150 series deluxes are exactly the same concept, except they have exotic wood tops over the basswood bodies. Currently, there's Aquaburst and Blackburst with poplar burl tops, and Purple Days with a quilt maple top. And I do believe they are actually tops, as EVH is touting the maple top as adding a bit of snap to the attack. I don't think they'd make the same claims if it was just a veneer. And actually, at time of filming, they've just announced a limited edition deluxe with an ash body in a natural finish. So again, pretty simple Super Strat, just a couple of EVH specific tweaks to make it a better shredder. It's very utilitarian, everything under the hood is well thought out. Now, how does that translate to the real world experience though? Well, I found one of the best ways to test guitars is to write something with it, see how it feels to play, what kind of riffs it inspires. So let's plug in, get some tones, get some first impressions, and write a demo track. It's a new guitar with a Floyd, you have to do it. Right now I'm running through the Neural DSP Rabia plugin using a custom IR that Luke and I have been working on. I strongly consider Drop C just because, but that's just not the vibe. Gotta tune down a little bit though, so half step it is. Alright, so obviously this thing is 80s as fuck. So we need to write something that's like fun, 80s, metal-ish. I say ish because that's not really a genre that I'm too familiar with, but I've been told like the key to happy 80s metal is it's like thrash metal, except instead of the low E, it's all about the A string, and then you put on a fuckload of chorus. That'll work. Kick slides sound awesome with this much chorus. Floyds are just too much fun sometimes, man. The first thing I'm noticing though, apart from how green this thing is, his neck is awesome. I don't know what they're doing at Fender's Mexico facility right now, but the fingerboard edges are so rolled. It's genuinely impressive because it's not just like they've taken parts of the fingerboard out in between the frets. That's something you see a lot from the Indonesian factories, but with this, the frets are flush with the roundness of the edges. It feels so good. Alright, focus. Come up with a demo track. So 80s intro. I'm thinking like a spacey tapping thing. It sounds pretty damn cheesy. It's perfect. Behind that, some chords with the whammy bar. Perfect. Intro sorted. So I've noticed in a lot of 80s songs, they like the guitar to take up a lot of sonic space, if that makes sense. So for example, in thrash metal, you'd use a standard power chord, like that's Power Rangers when we move. Happy metal, it's like, right? Like they use the voice of the open strings to really widen the chord. So I'm thinking something simple we can add harmonic leads to later. So, that's a solid progression. We'll go with that. And then the next section, something to slow it down, maybe. Nah, that sucks. That's no good either. Done. Solved it. Oh, fuck. Forgot about the big red button. And the neck is interesting. It's very smooth, satin finish, thinner than I was expecting. I was expecting kind of, I don't know, traditional Fender for some reason. And I think it's because, I mean, he modded the shit out of it in the end, but the bass was a normal Strat. The headstock is, actually, I know a lot of people are very attached to this headstock, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But it's the correct, highly sought-after shape. I really like how they've matched it with the body, too. Also, gotta shout out this volume pot. It's one of the low-friction pots, so it's super easy to adjust. Overall, I mean, this guitar is very easy to play. It's also got the D-tuner, so you can go from to I also really appreciate how it's kind of got the Les Paul control layout with the toggle switch up here. It's even got a Les Paul square jack down here as well. Anyways, this is a guitar demo, so time for a clean section, I guess. I'm thinking just big open chords. Don't know what this finger positioning is, but I think that sounds pretty good. And then we can add some sort of harmonics. That takes care of the clean section. And then of course, hair metal on an EVH guitar, we need some intense shred. One slight problem though, I never learned to shred. I can't shred to save my fucking life, so I'm cheating a bit. I'm outsourcing the shred, but it's someone that I've been wanting to collaborate with for a while, and it's someone who really knows these guitars. So I'm gonna send what I have over to him. He's gonna add some shreddy spice. The only other thing that I'm gonna do is cheese the hell out of this and just add a ton of synth. That's 80s, right? But those are enough ideas. I'm gonna go ahead, work on this a bit off camera. I fear this might turn into something like what 80s hair metal sounds like to people who don't listen to 80s hair metal, but we'll see what happens. And I'll meet you back here for some final thoughts on this guitar. But first, here's how the demo track turned out. I'd say that track came out pretty well. Huge thanks to Cam Cooper for working with me on this one. Check his channel out. He's an excellent player and kind of the Charvel EVH guy. And if you liked the track, you can actually stream it now on Spotify. It's up there thanks to today's sponsor, DistroKid, because when you write something cool, you're gonna want a way to share it with the world. And DistroKid is by far the easiest way to get your music onto all the major platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, all the other ones that matter just as much. YouTube Music, that's another good one. I hope the algorithm doesn't hate me now. But DistroKid is a fantastic platform that takes all the hard work out of it. Uploading is just a few clicks. If it's a cover, they'll even get the license. Historically, that's been a huge pain in the booty cheeks, so that's massive. And a big reason as to why I and so many other musicians use and love DistroKid is because they're musician focused and they're constantly improving the service for modern artists in the digital space. They're always adding new features, splits for collaborators to get paid fairly, promo cards to advertise new releases on social media, and they take it to the next level with Social Phone. Because social media is dominated by algorithms whose desires and favors change on a whim, your followers don't always see your posts. So with Social Phone, DistroKid gives you a tool to communicate directly with your most loyal fans via text message. Announcing a new release, a new music video, or even just to say what's up, that personal connection can make all the difference. Absolutely love this feature. DistroKid doesn't take any cuts. All revenue earned from your music is yours. Pricing starts at just 23 bucks a year. That works out to less than $2 a month, but you guys can snag a discount by using my link in the description. Plus it helps out the channel by letting them know that I sent you. So if you've got music you want to show the world, do it painlessly and seamlessly with DistroKid. And while you're checking them out, let's talk more about this guitar. Overall, I'd relate this playing experience to that of a Charvel, so kind of that hot-rodded Fender vibe. Makes sense. I've got my Sean Long Signature, which is a slightly modified Sandema Style 1. Pretty much a typical Charvel in feel, right here for a direct comparison. They're so similar with a couple of minor differences. They both have bolt-on satin finished maple necks, jumbo frets, compound 12 to 16 inch fingerboard radii. The edges are highly rolled on both to an extreme amount on the Charvel, which is amazing, but on imports the extent to which edges are rolled can vary from guitar to guitar. Spoke wheel truss rod adjustment, so on the fingerboard side, basically identical. Besides, obviously, the added weight of the Floyd, the main difference is with the neck profile. They're about the same thickness. The Charvel is a bit more curved with slightly more to the shoulders. The EVH has what they call a modified C, and it's slightly asymmetrical, a bit thicker for the bass strings, thinner for the treble strings, and to achieve that, it's a little flatter on the back. But compared to other asymmetrical shapes, it's pretty subtle, enough to be effective, but not enough to be distracting. But overall, this is a very familiar hot-rodded Fender feel, which again, makes total sense given Eddie Van Halen's guitar history. Like the very famous Frankenstein parts caster, the very first hot-rodded Strat, or at least the one that popularized the concept of slapping a humbucker in the Strat bridge position. It wasn't pretty, but Eddie really made it his own, and it's legendary. This is obviously a much cleaner looking guitar, but the basic themes are still here. Including, of course, the non-recessed Floyd Rose 1000 with an EVH D-tuner. And while some might not find it as fun as a fully floating recessed trem, you can't pull up, you can't do the intense flutters, there are some advantages to doing it this way. The locking nut gives you all the tuning stability and dive bomb capabilities made possible with a Floyd Rose, but since it's blocked off from going in one direction, it's far easier to set up and to get in tune. It means you can break a string without it going completely insane, and it means you can use a D-tuner with it. Now, the D-tuner does exactly what it sounds like. If your guitar is for some reason in standard tuning, boo, this will rectify that problem. Guitar Center kids, rejoice. No, but actually what it does is change the pitch of the lowest string by 2 semitones. When it's in standard, pull it out, and you've got drop D. And that's only possible on a non-recessed Floyd. It basically means combine this with a Digitech drop or a whammy for pitch shifting, you've got rock solid stability in any normal tuning, standard, drop D flat, C standard, drop B. I actually wonder what the maximum range is. Like, can you do 3 semitones, drop the low D to a low B? Basically standard 7-string tuning without the low E. Okay, Hunter and editing here, I've tried it, it's not possible. It's not called a B tuner for a reason, it would seem. And usually I'm skeptical of proprietary pickups. Usually they fall into either one of two categories. Either they're rebrands of generic low-cost pickups to hopefully keep the price down, or they're custom wound because no one else is making the pickups the brand feels is best for the guitar. The EVH Wolfgang humbuckers fall into the rarer latter category. They're hot Alnico 2 humbuckers. They're awesome, they're high output, but also because they used an Alnico 2 magnet instead of like ceramic, they've got a nice roundness, a nice warmness to them. The amplifier control knobs are sweet, they're easy to adjust. It's also really easy to see what they're adjusted to. Like, are both these fully open set to 10? Yes, they are. Perfect. Good to go. I also really like the kill switch too. Like, it's just this big fucking red button. It's like, danger, don't press me, and that just makes you want to press it all the time. And the switch they've used has such a satisfying click. Like, god damn it, this is just so much fun. And just like with a lot of 80s Super Strats, that's the main theme of this guitar. It's just fun. The color, the specs, the dumb shit you can do with the Floyd and the kill switch, it's just all pure fun. And again, I've noticed that with a lot of 80s style shred guitars, but especially with the ones I've tried that have some sort of Eddie Van Halen association or inspiration. Like the Kramers I've tried, and the 84, that fucking name drives me insane, the Beretta, and now this EVH 5150 series, have all just been really fun guitars. They're kind of a reflection of Eddie's personality. You know, like, I never got a chance to see him play live, but pretty much every photo, every video I've seen of him, he's got this huge grin on his face, and you can't help but grin right back. And that's pretty much how I feel about this guitar. Out of all the EVH style guitars I've tried though, this is the best one. Makes sense, this is a Super Strat from the company founded by the guy arguably that pioneered the entire concept of the Super Strat. But also, as far as direct competition is concerned, this feels better than any modern production Kramer I've tried. And they haven't been bad. What I'm saying is this is particularly good. The biggest thing for me is the rounded fingerboard edges. Fender's Mexico facility has gotten so good at that. But then you've also got the asymmetric profile, the compound fingerboard radius. I mean, Eddie Van Halen is so relatable as a gearhead. On a non-stop tone quest, trying new things, refining his tastes, and the gear reflects that journey. This 5150 series is an evolution of the guitars he made famous throughout his career. And it's slime green with a big red kill switch. Disregarding everything else I've just said, that's a pretty big selling point by itself. That's not to say there are no QC issues though. A finish crack, which I don't remember being in the unboxing video, has appeared near the neck, and the rear control plates aren't exactly form-fitting to the routes. It's more of a, well, it's close enough and it works kind of a situation. So there is a bit of that Frankenstein guitar spirit on the rear of this guitar. But those are just some of my thoughts experiencing EVH guitars for the first time. Here's where I'll throw it to you. Have you tried an EVH guitar? And if so, what did you think? And what do you think of the 5150 series, or even the 5150 Iconic that dropped earlier this year? Any and all thoughts, I look forward to reading them down below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to slap a like on it. That actually really helps out with the algorithm. Also, if you made it this far, consider subscribing. That way I can personally drop guitar content and information into your sub feed. Maybe even hit the like button. That way you know the minute a new video goes live. Massive shout out to the awesome patrons who make this and all the other content possible. If you want to support the channel as well and get bonus extras, link in the description. You can also join as a channel member or visit the merch store. That really helps out too. But in the meantime, social media, affiliate, and Discord server links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.